Now, before I start this video, trigger warning, because a lot of things that have been happening with Jackie Christie and both her daughters, not just one, not just Shani, okay, can bring up a lot of feelings because a lot of people can relate to this story. So y'all need it from a therapist perspective. So let's get into it. Okay. Y'all know over here we talk a lot about mother-daughter relationships, those parental wounds. And sometimes I say no contact, distance, long wooden spoon is the way to really sometimes love a parent. But for some folks, that is not enough. Now, we have seen throughout the years Jackie Christie and both her daughters go at it on TV, on social media. I forget she has another child, Dougie Jr., because we see her and her daughter go back and forth so often. And I want you to ask yourself as you're watching this video, can you hate your mama so much that you want to throw hands? Now, you can think about it. Oh, if only. But have you ever gotten to a point where you literally try and swing on her? Or y'all are fighting the grass, y'all fighting the house? Because as much as this is playing up on TV, a lot of y'all have gone through some similar situations. Okay. Now, most recently, there was this episode that's been going around.
Probably be able to share with me.
Let's get into it. Them having this conversation. Shani walking up to her room. Okay. This latest episode documented a serious breakdown between Jackie and her daughter, Chantel, which escalated from verbal tensions to a physical confrontation. Over the years, Jackie and Chantel have had a rocky relationship. But this episode exposed one of the most emotional and volatile moments to date. As the argument escalated, the rest of the cast stepped in, with several of them siding with Chantel. Okay. Now, I think that when she stepped into her room, Chantel, she already had the energy of a boiling point. Okay, a boiling point. And I think there are deep rooted issues with both of these women. Not just Jackie, but her daughter too. Okay. And part of it, has Jackie been the best mother? No. But does it get to a point where that gives you the right to lay hands on your mother? Could your mom ever do something so off-putting, upsetting that, you know what? Stop the words, no therapy, hands. Just hands. Okay? Some of you guys feel like Chantel is jealous of her mom. I've heard people say that this was all fake. Baby, the energy is not giving this as a scene. The energy is like, oh, you about it? Good thing they have security up there. Do y'all think that Chantel is jealous of her mom and always has wanted to be her? I think for me,
That went down in your hotel room. I'm not talking about Chantel. Not in the least bit. So any questions regarding her is a no. Please get me up out of here.
this is deep-rooted wounds of feeling like, I don't know if it's that Jackie has always put her father above their relationship. I don't know if it's that Chantel feels like her mom owes her something by being on the show. But we see her go back to the other women and tell a side of the story that's not all the way accurate. To get what? Them to side with her and to feel bad for her. Because for years the women come on this show have always been coming after Jackie. And Jackie is really the only one married, but is she in a happy marriage? Okay. I think sometimes we see how at times Jackie prioritizes appearances over external validation. A child may grow up feeling unseen and emotionally invisible. And I think for Chantel to be seen, I need to go on this show, confront my mama, and stop, I don't know, protecting her. I don't know if it's that I want the world to see who I think she really is, and the world has this, idea of who my mom is, but behind closed doors, she's another person. But we've seen for years of how Jackie treats her daughters, especially the emotional closeness with Chantel versus the strained relationship with the other daughter. Now, I remember a couple of years ago, the daughter was beefing with the mama. But now the other daughter is saying Chantel don't even really know the mama. Okay. Do y'all feel like Chantel has been treated as the golden child, whereas Takari has been treated like a scapegoat? I don't think it ever has to get to a point where you don't like your mama so much that you want to lay hands on her. Love her from a distance. Get therapy. Get your own therapy. It don't always have to be family therapy. Sometimes I hear people saying, once my mama agrees to go to family therapy, once we find a family therapist, that's when I'm going to start talking to her. But you're putting all of your own healing on waiting for someone else to be ready to heal. And you can't put all of your healing on the backs of a therapist. Okay. And therapy can't always solve all the parental dynamics, the parental wounds between you and those two people. And I was having a conversation with someone about this. I've often been hearing lately, it's too hard. The work of healing is too hard. Like coming and talking to me once a week, not so bad, hard at times, but people feel like they're stuck and they're not healing. But sometimes that is because the harder parts, which are the action steps, keep them from healing. And because the mind says, oh, that's too much work, that's too hard, that's why you're not healing. You have to change the narrative and be able to push past the it's too hard. And as much as you want your parent to change, heal, your healing journey cannot be about when my mama heals, when my mama's ready for family therapy, when my mama stepped to me with apology. You have to be willing to work on your own parental wounds. And I don't know if Chantel is in a place to really take accountability for her role in this. Now, I know a lot of people are dragging her, but and she turned off her comments and she actually, let's see if I can find her statement. Because she did come out with a statement. A lot of y'all are siding with Jackie, and I think siding with Jackie, not that there's really any side to take here, because we only see edited scenes. We only see an edited version of their relationship. So it's hard to take anybody's side. But I feel like in some ways, not everybody, sometimes the rhetoric of people siding with Jackie is that old school, a child should stay in a child's place no matter what, respect your mama, no matter what, that's your mama. And though I'm not advocating at all for physical violence, I think sometimes the old school thinking of no matter what, that's your mama can also keep you trapped and keep you from healing. Okay. Now let's look at her statement. But I want you guys' thoughts as we're having it's an open dialogue, open conversation. Okay. And so she says, let me read it. I'll start by saying if you've ever dealt with a toxic mother, then you truly have, if you never, sorry, let me repeat myself. I'll start by saying if you never dealt with a toxic mother, then you truly have no idea what it feels like. As painful as it's been to watch these moments of my life play out on TV, I know my younger self is proud of the woman who finally stood up for herself. So, my question though is fighting for yourself, stand up for yourself, like physically trying to attack your mother. Is that a way of standing up for yourself? The truth is, this dynamic is not rare. Very true. It happens in more families than we like. Very true. Narcissism, jealousy, lies, lack of accountability, gaslighting, abuse, high-end assaults, etc. We're just taught to keep it in the house and suffer in silence. I choose to break the cycle. Now, a lot of what she has said thus far is true. You are taught to keep the drama in the house, that you being beat, that you being abused emotionally, physically, financially. We are taught to keep that in the house to protect our abusers. Okay? We are. And a lot of women grow up not having the ideal, like, mother daughter relationship that you saw in Family Matters, the Cosbys, TGI Friday Nights, the Parkers, Moesha, all that rhetoric that is how mother daughters are supposed to be. You go to the mall, you shop together, you talk about your new boyfriend. A lot of people don't have that. But because Black media growing up in the 90s only showed us that, it makes us believe there is something wrong with me because I didn't grow up with that. It ain't nothing wrong with you. You were probably raised in an environment where your mama didn't heal her own trauma, so she started in utero with you. You swimming in her trauma. You being birthed through the birth canal in her trauma, only to be parented in her trauma now. Which what? Repeats the cycle. Okay, repeats the cycle. Now let me continue. Narcissism, jealousy, lies, lack of accountability. All right, I think I read that already. What you witnessed was a masterclass in narcissism. Someone lighting the fire behind the scenes, then walking away so you look like an arsonist. I like that little, I see what you did there with your wording now, girl. Now, the only thing about calling her mom a narcissist is that sometimes people call other people narcissists who actually have narcissism traits. Now, do I think that Jackie has some mental health issues? Yes. Do I think Jackie may have some traits of someone with some BPD? Yes. But I'm not her psychologist, psychiatrist. I'm not her therapist. I'm also just having a conversation based off of edited scenes. But throughout the years, I have felt like there is something there. I always say the biggest reality stars often have personality disorders. Okay. I know it really happened on and off camera all season long. So, no, the internet cannot bully me into submission. Y'all know a TV character. I know the mother. Bam. Okay. She touched my arm. I pushed her off of me. She swung, plain and simple. Don't really know if it went down like that based off of what I just watched. Okay. It's unfortunate things played out this way, and I wish it never happened. But if you knew our history, then you know this was a long time coming. But we do know y'all history. Well, we see on Basketball Wives and social media. I don't know if it had to be a long time coming that we would come to physical blows. I think there could have been interventions and things in place and self awareness that I am not in a place to be on the show with my mother. I am not in a place to go to her room where we are. I should not be on this show. There was a lack of self awareness. And just because you don't have the best mother, just because you feel like those mother wounds are pulsating, does not give you permission to do whatever you want, to lay hands on people. You are an adult. You're an adult woman. You have to learn how to self regulate and know your triggers. I may not be proud of my choices this season, but I'm also not ashamed. This is my life. And I doubt anyone judging me lives a perfect one. I see the hate mail, I see the judgment, but I also see all the messages that say, I dealt with this too. This reminds me so much of my situation. That is the thing, though. A lot of people can relate to her. Okay, that is very true. To those of you with heart and understanding, I see you. I appreciate your vulnerability. To those of you who met me with threats, vile statements, and extreme judgment, may you never understand my plight. Celebrating my darkest moments says more about you than I ever will about me. She's good with the words, the soliloquy. Okay. Now, that's the thing. People, we are in an era on the internet where people take things way too far. Okay. They feel like I know you from TV, so I have rights. Parasocial relationships again. Because I feel connected to Chantel, that gives me the right to go and threaten her mama, be in her mama comments, maybe, be in Chantel's comments because you side with Jackie. It doesn't. But we are in such a dark place on the internet now that people just feel like I can do whatever I want because you can't find me because my profile is fake. And that's where things to me are getting too far. I've always been misunderstood, and this chapter of my life is no different. But I will answer to God, not imperfect strangers who've never walked a step in my shoes. I'll keep my head up and my peace and focus as I continue to grow as a mother, a wife, and a woman. I did not know that she was a wife. I forgot she was a mother too. Oh, guys. I think it goes into also public versus private personas. Jackie, the public persona versus the private. Now, she talked about that in her statement. And I can imagine this is probably not the first time a physical fight has happened or some type of altercation. It's just in the past, it's always been behind closed doors. And sometimes narcissistic mothers, borderline mothers, they know how to play the role in public, but behind closed doors, that loving, generous, giving woman is berating you, is beating you, telling you ain't ish, and abusing you. But the world gets the hi, I'm Michelle's mom, and I'm on PTA. This creates cognitive dissonance and trauma because it invalidates the child's lived experience. Now, I don't know what's true and what's not. You also have the role of producers, castmates who have no value in you. Really, you guys are 1099 employees. And so, whether this was Chantel on her own, whether Chantel was hyped up by producers, castmates, hey, even her own friends, okay, it should have never gotten to the point where physical violence became an option. And not all, both the daughters have had some level of estrangement from their mother. And I wonder if some of it is a cry for validation. maybe Takari's decision to go public is often a way for maybe her to feel heard and seen. Maybe also trying to get her mother's love, to see me. See, mom, I'm proving to you I'm standing up for you. Love me. I think there's just a desperate attempt to reclaim each daughter's narrative and dignity at the sake of, I think, breaking a relationship that you can never return from. I don't know how you come back from this. I really don't know if there's a level of therapy that you can come back from this. Those of you who are therapists in the comments, armchair therapist, do you feel like they can come back from this? Is it repairable? And in your own relationship with your mothers, did it ever get to this point? Because some of y'all was teenage girls in the house fighting your mamas. Okay. You didn't wait till you became an adult. Y'all was throwing blows in the living room. But I think we also live in a world where social media has made it okay to blast your parents. And you have one side that's like, the parents who've gone no contact and they're like, oh, my children are selfish. They don't want to talk to me. And they have their own branding and their own platform of other parents who subscribe to the bullshit. And then you have the people who have gone no contact and want to share their experience and be vulnerable and help people heal from, going no contact with the parent. You have both sides. Parents whose kids have gone no contact with them and they're trying to help people heal from that. And then the kids who have gone no contact and they're trying to help people heal. Okay. Unfortunately, there's some kind of platform for each side nowadays. Okay. But there's also a level of respectability here. No matter what, we are taught to respect our parents. Where they beat you, they hit you, emotional abuse you, they own drugs, they abandon you. Respect is at the top. And sometimes we are taught to respect even when it hurts. Respect your mama more than you, I guess, want to heal sometimes. That's still your mama. You coming over for Thanksgiving? Well, is my mom gonna be there? Yeah, but come on now. You know you want some of that sweet potato pie. We want to see you. We haven't seen you. As we slowly get closer and closer to the holidays, y'all know them conversation, them text. Do I choose my own peace, but sometimes feel the shame and the guilt of choosing my own peace? Do I give in and go to these different family functions for other people? These are all conversations. But I think in this situation with Jackie and her daughter, it never had to get to a place where hands are laid. You have to recognize your triggers, know when a situation is not going to be good for you, no matter how much money VH1 or anybody else is throwing at you. Maybe as a mother, she needed the money. But at the cost of what? Okay. But these are just my thoughts on this whole Jackie Christie and Chantel Takari situation. Is not the end. Every couple of years they go out on social media. How many of y'all think that is real? How many of y'all think that it was just for TV and a storyline? Okay. What are your own thoughts about your own relationship with your mother? Did you grow up watching those 90s shows thinking there was something wrong with you because you didn't have that relationship with your mom? Okay. But tap in, clock in, hit that like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.